Welcome to the Conscious Collective podcast, a sacred space where we gather as visionaries, way showers, and soul family to explore the path of spiritual awakening, embodiment, and new earth co-creation.
Yay! In today's episode, we're diving into the theme of community. What it truly means to truly belong, and how modern life has shifted away from our natural ways of gathering, hasn't it? So drifted away from that.
But I feel like
to
it's
a point
coming
where
back.
It needs to come back. Exactly.
It is coming back.
And how we can begin to remember and rebuild these communities.
Yeah.
Rebuild community full stop. Because we've
fundamental.
Just lost it. It's so important.
Yeah.
And we want to discuss how we feel and how you feel, the importance of community in our spiritual ascension. You know, what role does it play? How important is it to us? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And remember, we want to co-create with you. So please do comment below, share your experiences. If you watch bits on Instagram, DM us. We want to hear about all of this because we're not meant to do this on our own. We are meant to be part of a community. So we'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, absolutely. Well said, Emily. Lovely. So, let's kick off with a question. What does community mean to us personally?
Yeah, what does it mean to you?
So community means, for me, I feel like without community, we're all in our heads and we're just experiencing something as a singular. And I really, truly believe that we're not meant to be experiencing things all in our own minds.
I like how you've taken it directly into the head, but it is very true.
Yeah, no, I think it's all straight into the head.
Problem shared is a problem halved, doesn't it? There's so many, when you start to look into, phrases that we have in our vocabulary around community, there's tons, isn't there?
And also, problem shared, but also experiences shared.
And we talk about that, sharing our experiences with the integration of it all. It's
so much nicer to explore things with other people. We can be doing things, creating things, but unless we get that interaction with somebody else, it's kind of less meaningful. And it's way more meaningful. And you experience the emotional connection through community. So I think community and connection with others, co-creation, that all kind of blends into one for me. So that's kind of what community means to me is, and it's meaning more to me now than it ever has done in my life before.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Yeah.
It's a remembering in me.
Oh, that's beautiful.
A call to how important it is to co-create and experience with others rather than experience life on our own, Yeah, we are very siloed, aren't we? We've got opportunity to connect all the time through our phones, through social media and networks, but it's a very insular process, and there's nothing like being witnessed and sharing that experience of being with other people, whether you are, making Christmas wreaths or singing in a choir or just doing things, even exercising together as a community. Yeah, definitely.
Community walks or gardening and allotments and sharing produce. And there's so much. I mean, community to me, I feel like has this connotation of being it's a large number of people. But a community could actually be very, very small, couldn't it? And it's going back to what you said, it's also a nice place to have, as people become more self-aware, to have that reflection with like-minded people that are going to be open to hear their experiences and their reflections without being judgmental and without being critical, which is I think where the world's going to.
Yeah. And I wonder if that's why it's interesting you say that, because I was just thinking the same. I wonder if maybe that's why there has been a step away from community, because I think maybe it was just all a bit too much for people and people didn't know how to hold safe space for people. And and maybe community became more of a, not such a positive thing,
Yeah. And I do feel like that was, I do feel like that was, I feel like that was kind of designed and influenced on purpose like that. And that's why I think more organic little groups sprouting up are really, really important, like our Conscious Collective, like another community group I'm part of, the Runnymede in Spelthorne wellness community. It's just a great space for people to share, what exercises they're doing, following one of the ladies that created it, her journey every day, because it motivates her. She says she wouldn't do as much as she does if she wasn't kind of accountable to that page in that community. Shout out to Cheryl Richards.
Hi, Cheryl.
And it's a beautiful thing to do. Your community can hold you accountable to becoming a better person. So there's so much range of community and how we can dip in and out of them. But I think it is key to find the ones that truly resonate with our hearts, that we feel that we can be
it's choosing
ourselves.
them consciously, isn't it? I was just thinking the same.
We're not doing it because someone else is doing it.
No, we're not following like the herd so much. It's having that sovereignty and maintaining that sovereignty, retaining that you, the real true essence of you, and seeking out and attracting and finding communities that you choose to be a part of, because we all know that we resonate and share frequency with everybody now. Everyone's got this awareness. And so it's about choosing now, especially for a lot of people, old friendships have moved away because we're realizing they're not serving us and we don't resonate with the same people that we used to. And it's so many people I speak to are now seeking out, actively really wanting to be around like-minded people to really kind of support their ascension and their awakening and all of the fun, exciting things that they are enjoying on their own. But they know they're being called to share that with others. And your frequency is a result of the people who are around you. So it's important to choose that community wisely. It's who resonates and who's talking about the things you want to talk about, who's enjoying the things. And like you said, it could be, if you love painting, going and joining some communities where you can go and explore that with other people who enjoy that too.
And do you know what that might take? It might take a little bit of bravery. Might take a few little neural pathways having to be changed there.
Very true.
But just think that your best friend is right next to you cheering you on. Just do these things. Go find a bridge club. I like bridge. Probably no one listening knows what bridge is anymore, which is fine. It's a really fun card game. But
if you enjoy it, it's whatever you do. You're talking about allotments earlier as well. If you enjoy
I miss having an
being
allotment.
in the garden,
it was so much fun.
Growing your own, all of these things. I think we were talking about this before we were live, and that is, spending time doing what lights you up, and then with other people who it also lights them up. There's so much power in that. That's so amplifying for your frequency. It gives you so much joy, and then that feeds into the rest of your life, doesn't it?
Exactly. And I mean, even when, especially when you're growing your own food, we're not meant to do this all on our own. We can't produce everything and have livestock if we eat meat and a chicken and a goat or, a cow for milk. We are meant to be sharing all of this. And it was lovely in the allotment group because, one year someone would just focus on like potatoes or garlic and chilies, and that he'd have a theme of doing a lot of those. And then he's never going to be able to eat all of that. So it's that sharing and that giving it back and then sharing food. And that's a whole other thing.
Yeah,
and
we'll talk about that for sure.
It's beautiful.
So let's have a little look then. Where do we feel that we have been held by community most in our lives?
It was really interesting. When I graduated from high school, I was awarded the Marcus A. Spencer Award, which I'd never even heard about. I don't even know if they gave it every year, but it was for joining the British and the American communities together. So for those that don't know, I'm born and bred in England. I got this accent from an American school in London. And I didn't even realize that I was bringing together the American and the British community. But I think it was almost, maybe my guides I think they kind of wanted to give me recognition for some of the work I was doing, bringing people together. And I've always been a bringer together. I've always wanted to bring people together. I think growing up, I was an only child. My father was he was always working, bless him. And my mother was busy as well. And so it was just quite isolating. My family was all around the world. And so I had to make my own community.
Yeah.
It did certainly teach me to do that.
Did it serve you in that sense? Did you feel part of that community back then? And the advantages of building that community for yourself? Did you feel held? Did you feel like it was enjoyable to share with them?
Well, it's teenage years, isn't it? You've got so much angst and so much growing that, we ended up having a huge friendship group.
Lovely.
It was
Amazing.
over 3 years. And I think that the music's really helped because choir, all 4 years of high school could join, as well as the band and orchestra. So you were meeting people from different years. And it wasn't just like all years 11s have to study that. You could have different age groups. So it went to people's ability. And so in that, you did find that like-mindedness. And so there was a massive group of maybe 20, 25 of us. And so there'd always be someone in the common that you could just go and be with. Maybe you weren't quite true your individual self because you're still figuring it out in your teenage years, aren't you? But yeah, there was definitely a lot of comfort, I think, in that. And
really nice.
Yeah, community, I think, has always been fundamental throughout university. And as I reflect back now, I'm like, I'm quite involved in the community. But because it's not like that, the church or like traditional communities, I haven't quite viewed it as that. Yeah.
It's interesting, isn't it?
It is. It really is.
And then, so what do we think about the loss or the fragmentation of community in the collective, really, and in the modern world? Because we were reflecting on, in generations gone by, people lived more in community, didn't they? Housing, and all over the world, it's been sort of little pockets and villages and towns, and everybody sort of stayed. But there's been this massive increase in people, even within the same country, not, growing up somewhere. And then when they became a sort of late teen or in their early 20s, they move away, right? And that's certainly my experience of growing up was everybody was like, certainly me personally, I was like, I want to go and experience somewhere new because travel is so much more popular.
Absolutely.
And people have gone and lived in other countries. And then it's almost sort of, you come to have your children and all of a sudden family near you and having community around you becomes a little bit more important. And I think that sort of got, certainly for the people that I've, the mums that I knew, we didn't realize it until it was happening. And we all then came together in community, the mums, all these sort of NCT groups and things, because we realized, oh my gosh, this isn't something we can do on our own, because we were sort of very fearsome, independent women. And I think that because of the rise of feminism, and that contributed to, we can do this on our own kind of thing. And then it was like, oh no, we can't. So it's such a roller coaster of learning about community for me, I think, in my life. And so, and now and then it's like, no, we need to rebuild a community around where we've chosen to have our children. And there's always that return to understanding that community has such benefits.
It does.
Such benefits.
And I think we need to pause and just give a shout out to all the mums that helped us along the way in this journey. You know who you are if you're listening, because there were those moments that it just can be hairy when you've got children.
It's that
and
shared
I just
experience.
have one, but
it's like, this is happening. Has it happened to you? I remember the coffee shop chats of, this is happening with this child. Literally, they're living it in the moment. And they're like, what? And then another mum will say, my child's doing that as well. It's okay. And it just gives you that validation that you're not on your own.
You're normal.
Going through that experience.
These things happen. Yeah, because we don't have the aunts and we don't have the grandmothers and we don't have all the brothers and sisters and all that kind of cousins, extended family where this is just so normal.
Yeah. So it's funny, isn't it, how that's what we've experienced in this life.
Yeah.
But
I do think kind of as we look back over last 80 years, I feel like strategically community has been, we've chosen a timeline where I think it's been intentionally broken down.
Dismantled, yeah.
Yeah, correct. And not to put that in a positive or a negative light. I think it is just, let's just accept it as a fact, if you want to. And I think it's definitely made people more stronger in the sense.
Well, it's kind of made us rethink community and rethink that it's I think where we're at on this sort of spiritual path is we're now coming back to the idea of community from a higher level of awareness and consciousness, where we can consciously seek out those who are having a shared experience or who are like-minded. Whereas I do think, if it's just the people that grew up around you, you're not necessarily surrounded by like-minded people just because you live in the same street or the same community.
No, absolutely not.
So I think you're right. Potentially has community been dismantled so that it can be re-established in a more conscious way, so that conscious people can find each other. And maybe we needed that opportunity to go away and kind of have that singular experience of awakening to then bring what we've learned back into community and share our uniqueness, really, from a place of, I don't know, maybe a bit more autonomy.
Yeah, sovereignty.
We know ourselves, sovereignty.
Yeah, definitely.
But
choice.
we know ourselves a little bit more rather than just following what everybody else was doing. Because I do think that had I stayed where I was living, I think that would have been what we were doing. We were all just doing the same thing. And, and I think that's what we all have been doing. Of course we have, no matter where we've been living. But there's a definite shift out of that now.
Oh, without a doubt.
As we raise our consciousness, we're like challenging the status quo, which is really good.
It's exciting.
And exciting, yes.
Yeah, it allows us all to be our unique divine spark, and we need to be cheering that on and embracing our differences and our uniqueness.
Lovely. So let's talk again about the online connection versus that physical connection. And online, how do we feel about that? Because being online is building community, but then there is that physical separation. So I think, there are positives to it.
I think we're just so blessed to have both. I mean, how fortunate are we that we can connect with people from around the world that have this specific curiosity and excitement and drive that we do, if we're willing to explore and find those people out there through podcasts, through websites, through YouTube, all these different things, social media. And then it is that balance. If we're not aware of our conscious mind, we become very insular again. Yeah. Or this person is on the other side of the world. Now what? I can't communicate with them. I don't know. They're not part of my community. Or maybe you do, but it's very short. So, and I think that's why, and we're going to kind of come around to this at the end, is about individuals making their own communities as well, and finding those shared groups, which people are normally we're community. People are meant to be in community. It's something that people naturally do. You see kids at school, they have their little gangs and they have their little groups and they call them different names, and they like to be individualized. Or, the Duke of Edinburgh Challenge, one group of girls, they were all wearing all the same thing, had all the same backpacks, and it was just so cute. Then the boys are all haphazard, but the boys still have their group. They've still got a name. It's all. We all want community. We all want that safe space to have it. So I think it's great that we can open up to, there are people thinking the same things as I am online. Yeah. But we need that embodiment piece, probably more in person, although you can have embodiment experiences online. But I think that's when you are... But then you don't maybe get the integration. With that interaction with people. But I do think... meeting in person is always just amazing because you're in each other's energy field in such a way that you're, you rise together and you feel everything is so heightened, isn't it? And it's so limited what we see. It's so limited by what we see. We just see these physical forms. But if that protein was activated in all of our eyes, you'd see Lucy's energy and my energy, probably weaving some figure eights somewhere, doing different things, going off and getting, you see all our guides too. Yeah. But it would just be... I think coming together in community is really, really good. But of course it can be online. But I think what we're looking at here when we're talking about online versus in person is, I suppose, let's talk about the spiritual ascension, a spiritual awakening, because I think it can be quite isolating if you are, it depends how you're going about it. And I suppose that's what we want to talk about today in this episode is how having more of a connection with the people that you follow online, how that serves rather than just
digesting information and reading information and going off and having your own experiences with meditation. Because I think in our spiritual community, there is a tendency for people to get a little bit stuck in that, a little bit disconnected, because our ascension journey, our spiritual awakening is so individual. It's so unique. It's so personal, which it should be. And
absolutely, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, we're want
unique.
It to be.
It has to be.
But sharing stories and coming into community with other people who are experiencing similar, if not sometimes the same things, is so beneficial to integrating it into your reality and your life. Because otherwise it's almost like, is this really happening? When I went into meditation and I saw this, I saw Archangel Michael, or I think I saw Jesus, you dismiss it or you don't believe it. It's like, oh, I'm not, so many people I speak to, they're like, oh yeah, when I did this meditation, this one popped in. And I'm like, what? Let's talk about that. Wow, that's amazing. Yeah. And why do you think that person was coming through for you? What do you think the message was? And like digging deeper and exploring. Other people can amplify your experiences and really help you to embody messages you've been receiving and things like that. Because a lot of the times, Emily and I will share things, they can come through as downloads really thick and fast.
It's like a drop gives you the whole world of information.
Everything in one little nugget. And you want to expand that. And if you don't give that airtime to expand it and you don't discuss it with somebody else, it doesn't ever get expanded and it's sort of, the drop goes away.
It doesn't get birthed properly, does it actually?
Do you experience that? Because I experience that all the time.
Oh, of course,
there's so many droplets.
Oh, yeah.
And it's only through talking to Emily and or creating something with that, you know, that, and I love that actually. We should pause on that, creating something with that, because it's having that nugget of, I could create that. Wow, that's a really good idea.
I'm exhausted by those. I've got to say, I'm always getting all these ideas. And I think it's common. I think lots of people do as well, especially at this time of awakening, to be having all of that.
And I think community helps to get these things
on so many levels. And remembered. Can we add that a little bit? It's a bit like a dream, some of these experiences. So if you haven't had one, think of it like a dream and you wake up, it's really vivid. You're like, there's no way I'm going to forget this. 5 minutes later, you're I had a dream. It was so important, but don't think you were in it. Maybe something to do with the teacup.
I can't remember.
There was purple in it, maybe.
It was so clear at the time.
And then with your little community, you've got, but you did have that dream about that, did I?
And I did.
Back. And you're like, and also all these other experiences, and that's why it is important to share them, as we always say, but to explore them too, and have that space to explore them, because. Oh my gosh, yeah. At the moment, it's kind of very, people are having these little individual ones, but we need the whole collective.
I think we do. I'm really feeling that right now. And maybe it would be interesting to hear.
And that's why we want to create spaces for you guys to meet, for you guys to share these experiences, because we totally get that. Like, I've got visions of our platform, like having little areas like postcodes. You like put in your local town. You're like, oh, Bill's down the road with Samantha and Jamal. I'm going to meet up with them and let's do some grid work, at Costa, or
have
whatever.
A coffee and chat about what's been coming up, what experiences you've had. Oh, I did a meditation the other day and this came through and da-da-da-da-da. Okay, what are you going to do about that? Oh, I don't know. What do you think? Just there's so much more that there's so many creative download bubbles that are happening that need to kind of come
energy,
out.
Can't you? I'm sure you can feel this energy, which is this birthing, exciting energy, which is not. It's something that we have to consciously tap into and then encourage. And we need more of this energy in the community. Yeah. We don't need the community that's like, can't do that, rules, regulations, no, black and white. We need this.
Creative.
Yeah, because look at what it does to our frequency. Just having this conversation elevates us. It will elevate everyone, including Gaia, which is why we feel we're here, to support her, have this experience, explore our multidimensional selves, help others explore their multidimensional selves.
And I think it's, the key things here within this sort of new way of building community is having obviously a safe space. So making people feel like it's okay to say whatever they want to say and experience whatever is right for them. So whenever we're holding space for people, it's about their experience. Yep. We're really hosting it, anchoring the energies and connecting you and lifting your frequency so that you're able to meet with your higher self or whatever is going on in the gathering. But the experience is all unique for you. And then we talk about it afterwards, and bring that helps with embodiment.
And people share what they want to share. And
they don't
people will naturally pair off or go into little threes, we kind of naturally did at Avebury. We found a little three, and then I found another little three. It was really interesting how that happened.
And I love giving space for that because I do card readings at the end of the sound baths, and I did one the other day at Buckland Park, and it was so beautiful to witness. I didn't rush over to people to read their card with them like I normally did. I just went and spoke to somebody else. I think it was on my co-host, Jess, or maybe it was another lady. But anyway, I noticed I turned around and people had gathered together to discuss with the person next to them that they didn't even know, some of them. And they were flying, reading each other's cards, sharing about their lives. It was so beautiful to witness. And, they read their own cards easily in that beautiful space because they were grounded, they were held, their third eyes were open.
They were harmonized.
They were
harmonized. And so it felt safe to share that. They
naturally.
Knew, yeah.
So a safe space and also an encouraging space with no judgment. So where you're being encouraged and supported, but not being judged, and I think that's important with this community, these new communities that we're building, is you do you, and you have your strengths, you have your gifts, you have beautiful downloads coming through, and that's amazing. And I'm not going to judge you for that. We're going to lift each other up with whatever beautiful gifts are shining through and help each other unpick it and help each other learn and grow and expand. That's the new community.
Because it's something that you can't quite put into words of a being and existing. And when you're tapping into this purpose or understanding of who you truly are, it's that kind of space that we're holding for people to explore, I feel.
Yeah.
And I think we were talking about, what do we feel is missing from modern community spaces? And I said, like a hang space, just where we can hang out, be ourselves. Safety is really, really important, but where we can truly express our uniqueness. And so I put it to people that are already holding little events, because we need these. We need it to be really common that we go on to online and we say sound bath, our area, and we get a choice of 5.
Yeah.
We get a choice of yoga classes. We get of witchcraft or angel events and all of these events. And so if you hold these sorts of events wherever you are, I'm encouraging you, can you add a little extra time to it, a half an hour, an hour, to allow these people to form a little community within themselves or to share their experiences? Because I know a lot of people will hold sound baths and they're gorgeous, but maybe it can just be encouraged that you just stay back if anyone wants to share, or how was that, just to build this out. Because again, we all need to
and it can be an option as well. That's what I did on the sound bath at the weekend. Was on Friday, it was anybody who wants to stay and read a card and and just allow yourself to dwell in that space for a bit longer.
It's a beautiful way of doing it, because that's how people get to know each other as well, don't they?
Yeah,
it's lovely.
Yeah,
it's special.
It's very special. And also we wanted to just mention, if we haven't already brought it up before, is moving the more we share like this, we're moving into a collective rise in consciousness and a collective awakening rather than individual awakening. It's all really helping bring everybody into that frequency of unity consciousness, which is so important on the planet and which is really the foundation of this conscious collective.
It is.
Which is to support...
I thought you were going to say life.
Yeah, and life, this incarnation. For us, it's our sole purpose.
For us, this is our sole purpose.
Unity consciousness. And how do we do that? Okay, we build communities, and
encourage other people to build communities too, the stronger we are together. And really, this goes back to such basic ways of how humans and animals have interacted and on a cellular level. But
did you want to share anything about on the cellular level?
Always. I always want to share. But there was a great African proverb, and apologies if it's used in other countries and not just that continent. But we don't. Okay, well, there was a few. There's that.
For it.
It takes a village to raise a child.
Oh, we love that.
Obviously.
Yeah.
And then if you want to go fast, go on your own. If you want to go far, go together.
Oh, I love that.
How nice is that? And you see that with the flocks of birds as well and herds of animals. Like they're all going together. And that unity consciousness, when Lucy mentions it, it makes me think of that flock, how they just turn. And again, with all their energies, all their Taurus fields, all the how they're all magnetized in their beaks and their brains and their third eye. And it's just so beautiful when you start to unpick the science of it and that we get to have all this access to all these little bits of information. I just find it so thrilling.
But that's, I think, sorry to interrupt you, Di, but that's the future, isn't it, of the human race? It's more telepathy, it's more empathy, it's more emotional understanding and connection,
where we have
resonance, frequency.
It's where we have been, and we could go down to like the fall of Atlantis and how that was switched off for so many people, but we won't on this episode. No. But I think it is a fundamental thing. And
remembering.
It is. And if we are going to talk on a cellular level, we're a community of cells. There's not a cell in our body that can do the whole function of a liver. It needs all those other liver cells to come in. Yeah. And it's for those cells to remember that they're a liver. So that's a community there. We've got the community that makes up a meridian for the spleen, yet we've got the community of the spleen meridian and the spleen organ. And so we've got all of these communities. And do you know what they're all trying to do? Help us exist.
And harmonize.
And heal. That's all they're trying to do, to help digest our food, heal our bodies, and look for the cells that have lost their polarity, correct them, and keep us, because a cell that's lost their polarity is a cancer cell, so to keep us healthy. So our body is a community. Why would we ever think that we shouldn't be in
as within, so without
community?
No,
yeah, so it's so
natural.
It's so important.
But that's why, and I love seeing it in the children. You mentioned how it's so in us and natural and innate, isn't it? That, the children are wearing similar clothes and, that is part of it. They're trying to sort of mirror each other, just like the cells are mirroring and working together. That's what they're naturally doing. And that's how it's coming out. And it's interesting because I always saw that as, I'm an advocate, for, a bit like you, Emily, for individualism and individual expression.
Yes.
And I'm starting to come around to, that doesn't always serve us. Yes, it can, but there's nothing wrong with community and like-mindedness when you are sharing that with people who are on the same frequency as you. Yeah. Because then you amplify each other together, don't you? So, yeah, it's interesting to reflect on that as within, so without.
Yeah. Absolutely. And there's a story I heard of in China. It used to be that acupuncturists would only charge you for acupuncture. You'd go every month or however often you would go back in the day. And then when you got sick, they wouldn't charge you anymore because they'd see that they had not balanced you correctly. But what faith do they have in their community that everyone's being fed correctly? Everyone's got equal access to shelter and good quality food. And I hope we'll get back to that.
Oh, that is the dream. But let's dream a little.
I do think it will get to a stage where there'll be more just exchange of goods and exchange of energy.
In my heart.
And you see that already within people will do energy swaps and treatment swaps and so on. And
that's
I'll pause on the whole corporate side. I won't go into that, but
I think it's good to hold a vision. I think it's good to hold a vision and to start sowing the seeds of the vision. And I think
that's what we're doing here. Yeah. We've got such a strong vision.
And let's talk about it. A community and living. How would it be if we lived in a way that everybody was able to express their own uniqueness, their own talents, what they are innately enjoy, what they're good at,
wouldn't they?
And then they shared the overflow of that. And we talked about, as a really good example, I think, the allotment. Somebody focuses that year on potatoes or whatever, and or a couple of vegetables, and then they make so many vegetables they couldn't possibly eat all of those potatoes because they all come up at the same time, don't they? So it's sharing that around and eating seasonally. I mean, don't get me started with that. How amazing would that be? But just sharing the abundance that they've created, and then say there's a healer in the village who she can give healing to that person that grew the potatoes. So she gets potatoes she can eat. And, that's a very small example. And, he's got a sore back from digging the soil. He gets a healing session for his back. I know I stripped that down to a very basic analogy, but can we just imagine that as a sort of very tip of the iceberg and expand that out? How would that be? What a new world we'd be living in if we're exchanging. I think it's Burning Man where they do that, isn't it? You come and you bring whatever you want to bring, whether it's a service or produce.
Is that how it works?
That's Burning Man. And so I think that gives everybody a bit of a glimpse of a bit of a new world. And I think that's why people are a bit blown away by Burning Man. They're like, whoa, and it can be so awakening. It's a very spiritual place anyway, but a spiritual experience anyway. But that kind of community living, I think, really does change people because it's that big remembering of, we're stronger together. This is better together. This is so much better because you're doing the thing that you do and that you love and you're good at, and so is everybody else. So everyone's happy. Oh, can that happen, please?
I know.
Yeah. Lovely. So beautiful.
Community. So we'd love to hear, maybe this conversation has sparked something within you about how you could build something in your community, just something that you really enjoy doing. Go out and find a tap dancing class or find some people to play bridge with. Just, or, you think an allotment would be too much to do on your own. It is quite a lot of work. Maybe find a few other people to do it with.
Yeah.
And just have those kind of shared experiences of giving and receiving
together. And how much, if it's something that you would do individually, is there someone else? Are there others who you can bring along? Yeah. And I just want to say that's what Emily and I have done with Avery, because I was going for quite a few years, to be honest, on my own to Avery, channeling energy. And I did enjoy it on my own. But there was something missing. There really was for me. It was enjoyable. I loved it. But it's so much portal. But it's so much more enjoyable with everyone else.
Yeah.
I love it so much more. It's such a better
experience. It's like a theatre experience. If you go to the theatre on your own, you've got this cast performing for you. It's going to be amazing. But when you've got that whole audience with you and you're all laughing together, it's like going to a concert. Gosh, if it was just two people in the concert, it wouldn't be quite right. You need that whole community, don't you?
Yeah, you really do. So where can we, a call really for you to reflect on community for you. And are you being called to create community at all?
Yeah. And if you want to join our community,
of course.
Please do. Please do. The Conscious Collective. We would love for you to join us. We've got lots of offerings that we do every single month. And we've got courses within it as well. So
we've got a WhatsApp group as well. So you can always join the WhatsApp group. We've got lots of places. So just reach out to us, however way. All of our details are always at the bottom. So reach out to us and say, hey, I want to explore joining your community in whatever way. And there's so many things you can join in.
So should we just give a brief overview of what actually happens in the Conscious Collective community?
Go for it.
So once a month, we'll come together for those that want to practice. We're going to do some energy medicine yoga together because that embodiment piece is really important. We'll include some meditation and some interesting spiritual aspects as well. We have a soul circle that we run once a month, again, encouraging, and that's done live as well. These live aspects are really important to help you build your connection with like-minded people that maybe you can't find on your own. We want to help supply you with other beautiful frequency people. Frequent people. I don't know what the word is.
We have so many already in our collective that are just soul sisters already.
I know.
We call them founding members because they're just amazing and they just share and they're just wonderful people. So if you are looking for like-minded people, come and join us because they're there already waiting for you. Honestly, they want to share with like-minded people, more like-minded people.
So they want to meet you. You guys are all waiting to meet each other.
I know. I see it all the time individually. And I'm like, they're all crying out for each other.
Come. We're gathering them all. Yeah. And then Lucy will also be doing a channeled message once a week. And there's other few little surprises in there too. So yes.
Lots coming through for you guys.
So come join, details down below.
Oh, lovely. All righty.
Thank you so much for joining us. So just remember, keep smiling, keep being you, keep being uniquely beautiful.
Keep rising, remembering.
Keep weaving the new earth with love.
Thank you.
Joyful blessings.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us today. Please remember to like and subscribe. If you want to work with us directly, see the show notes below. Thank you.